When we talk about loading cattle in a tight place, whether it be on a truck for shipping or onto a stock trailer for pen moves or going into a chute for processing or treatment, we've got to understand that it takes a certain amount of pressure. Cattle come, we have to overcome the pressure that the animals are coming into. And when we talk about all the basics of cattle handling, flight zone, balance point, pressure zones, all those things, this really comes to fruition here. So this increases the danger and the safety risk for the handlers, whether horseback or on foot, because you have cattle wanting to come back and get out of that pressure. We have to understand that. Safety first. The next thing is numbers of animals. If it takes 40 pounds of pressure to drive these animals up into the tub, if I have 10 animals, sometimes that creates so much pressure that I can't overcome the pressure coming back. So the less number of animals you take, the more balanced your pressure can be to get on the certain number of animals. Also, when animals get tight and in a spot where they can't turn around, they become very difficult to maneuver and manipulate. So we want to take small numbers of animals multiple times. We say that over and over again, but for some reason, human nature always ups the numbers. So keep that in your mind. Small numbers, lots of groups. Okay, the other thing that we really want to remember is I talked earlier, move your pressure from the tail to the triangle or straight behind the ear on the neck of the animal. Pressure there rather than at the tail. The other thing you want to remember is cattle, when they're all pointed the same direction, when they're all head to tail, head to tail, head to tail, movement is much easier than if they're in random order. They create their own flow when they're all directed the same way. So when I walk into this pen to pull these cattle out, what I want to do is I want to observe my cattle and see which way, when I step into them, I'm going to draw their eye around and create the greatest flow. Sometimes I'll go on the right, and from this situation I'd like to go on up the left side, my left side, to the right eye of the cattle, because that gives them a lot more room to come around me. So as I step in here and I pressure these animals and they start filing around me, I'll get a nice flow. Say I was going to take 8 head of cattle. I would try to get my flow going real nice there with 8 head. But say I had 7 and I had a nice flow going and then I didn't have anything. I would go with the 7 rather than waiting for the extra one, taking 8 each time, because I have a nice flow started. I can keep my pressure on the animals and they won't stop up here waiting for me and turn back. When we put pressure on animals, if we put enough pressure where they keep thinking about our pressure, they can't change their mind up here and not go for us. So that's very, very important to remember. So I get my flow start, I got my 8 head. As I come around here, now I'm on their left eye, or their right eye, I'm sorry. And they're spread out here, so I pressure right there at that front animal. I can start him going and get him going up, and I can step right to these animals and I create a leader-follower situation. As soon as I come along here, I'm going to come here and I'm going to keep pressuring from the right eye, which there I can see the leader, and it's going to cause him to turn to the right. So as I step in here, now right when that leader gets to the front and he's making that right hand turn, here I can switch across, pressure my 8 head all the way up, and now I'm on the animal's left eye. It's working. So now I'm pressuring from the left eye of the animals. I walk my pressure up, and as you can see, I have my pressure on my lead and on my following cattle. I can get my gait right here. I can pressure, still keeping my pressure on the lead, but now I have the gait for safety, and I walk these cattle up, but my mind is up on the front. If I can keep these cattle all pointed the same direction and the leader, pressure on the leader going up into the chute, the others will follow. It'll take a lot less pressure to get the animals. That'll create a nice flow and a calm single file work going right into the cattle, and that'll carry right up through the chute. They'll walk in the chute, they'll be calm, they'll be relaxed, they'll accept their vaccines and medicines, and that will be a great experience for the handlers and a pretty good experience for the cattle. So that's the optimum way. Now, always things will give you challenges. And what you got to do when you get a challenge, when the animals, you've got to step back, give them room, reevaluate, rework, step back in and put the pressure where it's needed and go on. That's how you stay safe, and that's how you get a lot done.